if you're part of those types of people who think like YouTube is just a long-term play, I must say you have only 6 to 12 months left until you're out of this game. Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay? Firstly, you have to understand that today I'm going to cover for those types of people who are really wanting to go from this, oh, YouTube is just a long-term play, to creating content to get the best clients possible, reaching and crushing all of their goals, and so they can stop actually stressing. And because today I'm really going to cover the easiest content creation system ever. You can see that it has 3 steps, simple as that, and I know it will book you clients. Now, what do I exactly mean by this long-term play? You have 6 to 12 months of succeeding until you're gonna be completely out of this possibility of creating YouTube content and actually succeeding with it. Now, I had a call with sales Ben, and what happened is that we were talking about like what happens in a sales call, man. Like, of course. And Ben said something like this: he has a successful agency, he makes money, he runs ads, and he has these kinds of outbound strategies that he's booking calls. And he's like, man, I just started to hate cold leads. I was like, please explain. And he's like, hopping on these calls, it's like not worth it. It's like I have to use so much salesy techniques to get someone to convert from a cold lead to a prospect who buys. He said even though he has nurturing mechanism, every single detail is just hard to close these cold leads. Of course, there are exceptions to this, but it's hard. I was like, okay, and explain, please more a bit. Please explain a bit more. He was like, I had one person who came through YouTube. He was posting, content, very basic stuff. And he was like, that person came through, booked a call, and he was like, when they hopped on a call, that person was like, where can I buy? Like, please tell me, how can I buy? And he explained how much of a difference it made to use YouTube, not just as a nurturing mechanism, but as a way to continuously attract clients. Because the difference between a person going from a cold ad or outbound and between a person who watched your content on YouTube was incomprehensible by his words. And so I kind of realized how much the trust recession basically kills the potential nowadays to get cold leads to actually buy from you. And that's why I say in 6 to 12 months, your possibility or opportunity of using YouTube to get clients and nurture people is gonna be gone. And the reason for that is because the trust recession explains how people don't trust people online anymore. It's like they have been scammed so many times before. There is AI, there is everything. And if you don't have a way to prove yourself, for example, creating YouTube content where it's basically you creating the content, it's like people don't trust you anymore. And so that's why in today's video, there are going to be 2 types of people after they watched the video or just came here. Either there's a monkey who thinks YouTube is just long-term, or there is a WA who realizes that YouTube is a skill issue. And those people who realize that YouTube is a skill issue will have not just, results, but as I mentioned here earlier, they are going to have the cream of the crop clients. So no refunds anymore, no more answering questions in the middle of the night. And the next goals they have, which like 20, 20, 10, 20, 30, 50 or 40, 10, 20, 30, 40 or 50K a month away from them, they're going to just crush it because they understand how if they create just one good video with this easy content creation system I will show you, they're going to be able to close these types of people, and not just close these types of people, but they're going to be able to attract those types of people who they really want to work with. And they can just stop stressing. But for that, they need to realize that they have a skill issue because YouTube is not a long-term game. Please forget that. You only say that because you don't even know that YouTube requires skills. And because you don't have that skills, you say, YouTube is just a long-term thing. I'm just publishing their videos and I'm going to get, clients and these sorts of stuff. Well, you hope, but that's not sure. And so, as I already shown you, the two types of phase, I have to show you an example of my client who implemented this simple as content creation system. Like, please, this is so simple. And after like 7 days or something like that, he sent me this exact voice memo.
Like we had, for example, we have one lady who booked a call a couple of days ago just from YouTube. She just found me randomly on YouTube. I think watched the organic VSL, opted in, booked a call, and she is on the verge of paying $7,000.
And so what can I say? If you want to get similar results, just use this easy as content creation system. So let me explain how it goes, because then you will be finally able to attract clients. Three simple steps to this process. First, ideation. Ideate content. Second, packaging. Take this idea and package into a content that people will not click at. Thirdly, when people click at your content, hook them in. If you use this process, ideation, packaging, and hook, in this framework I'm going to teach you, you are going to attract your dream clients through YouTube day in and day out. So let's talk about the ideation. Now, before I would go into explaining exactly how to do it, there's a big concern I have to talk about in the outlier word. Do you know what's an outlier? Everyone teaches that around YouTube. An outlier basically is a video which performs much better on your channel compared to the other videos. And you can find these videos all over YouTube where, for example, a channel has low amounts of followers or subscribers and one just gets 100,000 views even though they have 1,000 followers. That's an outlier compared to the channel average of views and how big is the audience. That video just performed much better. And what that means is that there is something in that video or in that idea or anything that made that video perform so well. And so if you understand what's that, you can replicate it for yourself. Now, a lot of people, how they teach using outliers in ideation is this. Take an outlier and replicate it for yourself, like redo the outlier video. And I want to ask you a question. If you are, let's say, watching a video which performed really well, doesn't matter how it performed, you watch a video on YouTube. It's like, man, this was a good video. And let's say 2 days later, you go onto YouTube again. And you click on a video and it's almost exactly the same, how everything is told, how everything is explained. Would you want to buy from that person? No. Simple as that. And now people can say that, yeah, but you have to take it from different niches. Okay, but if you consume a video, which is an outlier in a vlog channel, you watch the vlog. Okay, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't watch a Miro board video on another channel, which could be taken from that outlier. So this is why I just basically hate this type of thinking, because outliers are just the golden nuggets to YouTube success. And so when people start using outliers in a form where they just take it and replicate it again, I think they are losing what's really the key to outliers. And so what I teach my clients is this. Pick a topic which you want to talk about. Let's say you want to talk about sales calls. Let's say you want to talk about niches. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Doesn't matter what you want to talk about. But pick that topic. And don't use outliers as a form to, so to speak, replicate the outlier. But use an outlier to give your topic an angle to talk about. And so what I mean by that is, let's say you want to talk about a sales call. And you have seen two types of outliers. For example, one is, I've seen this not so long ago, speaking like this gives you an unfair advantage on YouTube. This is one type of outlier. And another outlier could be, don't create content, do this instead. You definitely have seen these types of content. Now this is the idea. Don't create content, do this instead. This is one type of outlier. Speaking like this gives you an unfair advantage on YouTube. Now what you could do if you would take the outlier method is take this content and replicate it in your own niche with your unique idea. Like outreaching like this gives you an unfair advantage on X, Y, and Z. Or you could do like, don't do X, do this instead. You understand my point with that? Now, I don't like to do in this way. I like to do it in this way. I want to talk about, let's say, niche. This is the topic I want to talk about, like choosing a niche. This is the topic I actually want to talk about. Now, what is going to happen from there? I'm not just going to, say like, picking a niche like this is going to give you an unfair advantage in SMMA. I'm going to use the idea of niche and take outliers and take a look at these niche idea from different angles. So one could be, don't pick a niche, do this instead. This is one angle I could explain my idea. The other, niching down like this gives you an unfair advantage in SMMA. Boom, another angle. There is a video about this habit forces your brain to stop consuming. So it's like, this niche forces prospects to become your clients. This is another angle. And what I do is, based on the angle I've selected, I go and create that content. Simple as that. But I don't use outliers to replicate it and give the same value for the same type of people. I use the outlier to give an angle to my content. This is how to successfully use outliers. So with that said, this is how you ideate content. You pick a topic you want to talk about, but of course, make sure the topic you're going to talk about aligns with the market. And you simply give it an angle with outliers. Now, you come to the packaging. So you have this correct idea. And what you need to realize, guys, is that an idea equals with a title. This is how I like to think about YouTube. If I have a killer idea, that's a killer title. Like, speaking like this gives you an unfair advantage on YouTube. This is a killer idea, but also a killer title. I didn't have to come up with a title for this. And so when you're creating your packaging, based on the idea you have, that becomes your title. Now what you need to do is a thumbnail. And so when you're creating your thumbnail, there's two things you need to keep in mind. One is a contrast and one is validation. So let me explain step by step. What is contrast? Contrast basically means that because of difference, something stands out. This is what contrast is. And so when you're creating your thumbnail, in some shape or form, you need to create contrast so people's attention is going to be directed to your specific thumbnail. So it can be through understanding what type of content the people create on the home feed or your competition, and you create something completely different. Or another way could be where you're creating your own thumbnail, and what you're doing is you're using completely different bright colors, which force you to take a look at it. This is what, for example, Mr. Beast uses. Now, with that said, why contrast is important and why you definitely need it. So, how to succeed on YouTube with packaging is this. A contrast in your thumbnail makes someone take a look at your video. The title of your video makes someone interested in your video. And the validation of your thumbnail is going to justify the click for someone to actually watch the video. So when it comes to validation, so hopefully you understood contrast. Like, I tried my best to explain it right now. Like, the steps to create contrast is very easy. Use bright colors. Simple as that. But when it comes to validation, your title creates a specific interest in the people's mind. So if you say speaking like this gives you an unfair advantage on YouTube, you have specific things which you're interested about. Speaking, sorry, this is not visible. Speaking, unfair advantage, YouTube. These are the things that you are interested in. So when you're creating your thumbnail, you need to validate these details which you have said or named in the title. And so if you validate what is said in the title, your video is going to get a click by the people who read the title and watch the thumbnail. And so this is packaging. You have a killer idea, which is a killer title. Then you use contrast in your thumbnail, and then you validate the interest you created in your title. Now, when people have actually clicked on your hook, this is the time where you have to create very good content. Now, most people really just overthink this, and I don't want to be the person who says that hook is not important, but a lot of times creating a hook is not about what you are saying, but how you are saying it. At the start of this video, you heard how I was confident and had conviction in what I was saying, because I know what I'm going to teach you in this exact video is going to help you. So I didn't have to say the perfect ever hook in my life. All I had to do is explain what I'm going to talk about, and you're going to be hooked, because I explained what I'm going to talk about in a manner that made you listen to me. Now, with that said, there is this simple structure I want you to use when you're creating your hook. Explain what you're going to talk about, what they're going to get if they watch the video, and why they should care about or why they should listen to you. This is the hook. If you explain what is the topic going to be today, what they are going to get after they watch the video, and why they should care, it's very simple. And now, with that said, we have covered everything. This is how you ideate, this is how you package your content, and this is how you hook in people. And all you need to do from here is explain the value, which you already have because you're already an expert. So with that said, thank you so much for your attention. I'm waiting for you in the next video, and see you later.